Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Stage Door Show. I'm Dave Hondel. Tonight, my guest is an actor and producer who can be seen in the upcoming theatrical release of the Western drama entitled Long Shadows, opening on November 7th. And we're excited to find out more about this great new project. So please welcome Dawn Marie to the show. Thank you for being with us, Dawn.
Well, thank you for having me.
So awesome to have you on the show. And, I was telling you before we recorded, I saw this trailer and I can't wait for this thing to come out. What a great project. And, I always like Westerns anyway. I love the Western genre. So talk about the making of that movie. Like, how was your experience on that film?
Um, well, honestly, my experience on the film, it kind of felt magical in a way. It was a wonderful set to be on. We were out in Tucson. We shot at the old Tucson studios out there, which have done a lot of like Westerns that everyone has seen. And just an amazing cast and crew. So from top to bottom, it was a great experience. It
I
was
mean,
amazing.
Jacqueline Bisset is in this. I mean, there are a lot of great actors. Dermot Mulroney, and I mean, who hasn't been? And I mean, I was looking through the list, and a couple of friends of the show, like Mike Markoff, and Ronnie Jean Blevins have been was in it too. And I was kind of thinking as I was watching this trailer. I used to drive out. I grew up in Minnesota, so we used to drive out west every summer, and we used to go through all these great western states like Nevada and Arizona and California. And along the way, we used to stop in these little ghost towns. They had these little ghost towns from the gold rush, and then they would have some kind of like gold pan, you can pan for gold and things like that. And those were great experiences for me to do that. And did it kind of put you in that place when you were on set? I mean, I know you shot in a studio and a backlot, most likely, but did it kind of put you in that so you kind of felt almost like you were there?
It did. Actually, that makes me want to tell you. So my first drive to set from the hotel, we have to go through the mountains and we're driving through the Saguaro National Forest. It's in Tucson. I've never experienced anything like it. You
Wow.
come over the canyon and it's just like all this desert and you drive down a windy road and the studio, I mean, it's not a backlot. It's like a little like middle of the desert. I mean, they
Wow.
just only use it for shooting, but and then it has like a bunch of little setups there. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we were literally in the middle of this. I guess I'm
Yeah.
saying it wrong. Saguaro. The G is
Saguaro.
silent.
Okay.
Yeah, national forest. So it's the only place in America where that kind of cactus grows. I don't know if you know that,
That's a
but
really super. I didn't know that. No, at all. I didn't know that at all. One of the things that I remembered about Arizona though is when we were driving through and the sun was setting, there was nothing more beautiful. I mean, it was hitting the desert like the sand had turned it red. It was just like so unbelievably gorgeous. So did you experience that when you were out there as well?
yeah, I took a lot of pictures too, but there's nothing like a desert sunrise and a desert sunset. It's
Yeah.
amazing because it's so flat too. So for the
Yeah.
most part, I mean, there are some hills there. Yeah, it did. It felt magical there. I love Tucson too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever
Been
been
to
there.
Tucson. I've never been to Tucson. When we went through Arizona, it was driving through. I can't remember. I don't know if it was coming from Colorado into Arizona. Anyway, it was just a little corner of Arizona. It was just a top corner of it. But even that little corner of Arizona, I was like, wow, this is a gorgeous place. And we went through, and then we went into through California into L.A. But it was just a great drive. And I wanted to ask you about this because about that film, William Shockley directed it, and you've worked with several directors over the past several years that you've been in this business. So talk about working for different directors, and and how do you kind of put yourself in a different space based on that director? Do you kind of get to know them ahead of time? Do you have that opportunity to do that when you work with different directors, or how was your experience on this film for that?
He kept it open, with like he texted or like quick phone call before, like if you have any questions, like give me a call and all this. But I'm kind of I felt like a newer actress in a way, even though I've been training and doing all this for a long time. This was my biggest project. So I didn't talk that much to him beforehand. And honestly, like we did have like some Zoom meetings with the cast, and there was like this really good, like peaceful energy and like people who wanted to create art. And when I went on set, you could feel it from everyone there, from top to bottom. And I would say that, working with him, he was kind of like quiet, peaceful. He really trusted like the actors doing what they doing. Like if he had a note, it was like quietly like talk to you about it and
Yeah.
reshot it. But it honestly, it was probably one of the most like peaceful, positive experiences that I've ever had on a set. It just felt really good. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I don't know if I can compare it really to other directors. I've worked with a few. Um, but yeah, I feel like this was like one of the most like it just felt like everyone was there because they loved it, and that was a really good experience for me.
Yeah, and
So
I think sometimes shooting on location too, you kind of all feel. I don't want to say like it's going to camp, but but it is in a way you're going somewhere with a group of people that are there for the same goal, and it's not like
yeah,
you're going on a set and you're just driving home afterwards. I mean, you're all kind of there together, and so
yeah,
I would think the camaraderie is pretty good in a situation like that. I mean, I'm not saying every film is going to be perfect, but
no,
I would think that it would be kind of an experience that you're all kind of doing together, and it's almost like you can look back and it's like that was really cool, and we all kind of did it together, and it kind of makes you a little closer, I would think, as a group of actors and producers and everybody, even crew members on the set, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I have a little disclaimer, which is that I was only out there for 5 days total. I think I had 3 shoot days, so I did, and they were out there for a whole month.
Right,
Uh,
right.
So I'm sure I know for a fact because I did, after the fact, we did have the premiere at the in Tucson at the theater there. I can't remember the name. So I got to spend even more time with everyone. So yeah, there was definitely a lot. The camaraderie was built, and um, I wish I was there for longer because
Yeah.
that's how fun it was. So
Yeah,
anyway.
that's for sure. So you said the premiere was out in Tucson. So how was it watching this film that you were in, and then seeing the reaction from the audience? That must have been pretty cool.
It was amazing. And a lot of times when I watch something, I don't like I hate seeing myself, but in this particular film, I think because the story was so good, I wasn't even paying attention to myself really. Like I was watching the movie.
Yeah,
And yeah, they really did a great job with the story and the production design and the cinematography and the acting it was honestly incredible, like really good actors. So I'm really happy that I got to be alongside all of these talented people for that. Yeah,
well, I can't wait for it to
it
come
was
out because
good.
just the trailer, like I said, alone was just amazing, and it just really kind of whenever a trailer draws me in like that, I definitely have to see the movie. So I can't wait for it to come out on the 7th of November. So check it out. Long Shadows, everybody, see it on November 7th
Yes,
in theaters. The other thing that I want to talk about is you're based out of Los Angeles. Are you originally from Los Angeles?
I am. I mean, my early childhood was actually in the bottom of the Mojave Desert out in
Oh
I don't know if
wow.
you know the area of Southern California well or not,
A
but it's
little
out.
bit.
I don't know if you know where Palmdale or Lancaster is, but
I know
I
where
was
I
out in
had found me in Temecula. I don't know if that's near there or not.
I was out in this little place in the boonies called Lake Los Angeles.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
so that's where I lived at first, but my family is from the valley. And so when I was 7, we moved back to the valley.
Yeah.
And that's where I've lived well, now I'm in Santa Monica, but that's where I grew up.
So that's home
was in
for
the
you. I
valley.
mean,
Yeah.
LA. So you didn't have to really move out there. Like a lot of people move out there to be in the business. And so this is a perfect question for you because I know you've been through, while you're in this business, you've been through, a pandemic, you've been through a
Yes.
strike, so, living out there in LA where they make most of the movies, what did you feel during those times where things were kind of shut down? Did you ever feel like it? Oh my gosh, is this ever going to be the same again? I mean, what was your thoughts? Because people that are in the business, that are creatives, and that are in this type of making movies and so forth, it's like when you're not doing something creative. I mean, it's like you go nuts. I mean, there's got to be a situation where it's like, is this ever going to be the same? We couldn't go to theaters, we couldn't see, stage plays, musicals, things like that. So people were doing stuff over Zoom. So how did you handle that situation during those times?
Well, I think I'm a little weird because, well, like, first, I actually didn't really start auditioning, even though I was like training as an actor and I produced my own plays and I did that kind of stuff. I never was auditioning until the pandemic because I
Right,
was a mom and, driving to auditions, I had to do stuff that I was in control of the schedule,
right,
basically.
right,
But when the pandemic happened, suddenly everything was self-tape anyway. And
right.
that's actually when I started like pursuing the more business side of everything. So in a way, for me, the pandemic was a blessing.
Yeah,
It made me also like have a lot more time to sit and think about like, how, and thankfully there was a lot of Zoom things that I was able to do. So I got a manager during the pandemic, my first manager ever.
hmm,
Like I had a lot of career milestones at a time when most people were
yeah.
freaking out, kind of like you said.
So it
So
helped. So it helped
it
you.
helped me.
Yeah, right, right, right. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, because
I
some
know.
people took advantage of that to write. If they're a writer,
I wrote, I did that.
yeah. So it gave you a chance to really sit and concentrate and do things. Because if we couldn't go anywhere anyway, why not do something creative? Whatever you can do, you might as well do. And like people were finding out ways. Like if they were like a theater actor, they used to do plays and musicals over the Zoom, which I thought was pretty creative. And I saw some amazing things. In fact, we on this show we did during the pandemic. We got some actors together and we did a couple, theatrical, shorts, on our show. So I think it was kind of cool to, at least do something like that. And, I was just curious what you did during that time, because it's a pretty challenging time just as a human being, but to be creative at the same time, not be able to go like on stage and not be able to, if you're a TV actor, go to the studio and do things. So you took advantage of that. And I think that's amazing, be able to write like that during the pandemic.
It's interesting because I feel like a lot of people, you're on like one path and kind of going and doing this, and the pandemic shook everything up a little bit,
Yeah.
like switched you. So for some people, I know it was really difficult, and I get
Yeah.
that. But I liked how quiet everything was.
Yeah. Right. It's definitely quiet.
I don't miss I didn't miss the LA traffic. I mean, it came
Oh,
back
yeah.
after, but and thankfully for me, like I was able to continue in my, as an artist, I have like two other jobs and those weren't affected by the pandemic. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was very lucky to be able to not have to worry about that and be able to focus on, having more time for other things that
Yeah.
I wasn't spent sitting in traffic.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that for sure. And you've also been in a Lifetime movie, and yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that because I love Lifetime movies. I
Do
do.
you?
My wife and I we watch Lifetime movies all the time. So, what was that like? Being on like a TV movie like a Lifetime. I love those, especially the mystery ones, and I love those. In fact, we love Hallmark too. We watch Hallmark movies, but what was that experience like? 'Cause, was that a quick thing? Was it like I don't know how
So
long it took you
fast.
to film it, but was that a great experience too?
Yeah, well, it was different, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
So, uh, and it was a great experience on set. Like everyone who I worked with was amazing.
that's what I
But
heard.
the
Yeah,
difference between, something like Long Shadows, And a Lifetime, even though Long Shadows, that wasn't that long of a shoot window either for a
Hmm.
feature film. 4 weeks is still, they're moving
Yeah.
along.
Right.
With Lifetime movies, they're usually shot in 12 days.
Oh, wow.
So it's fast. And for that particular one, because it was like a pandemic thing, it was uh like a kind of rush. Like I think I got hired on Friday and I had to be on set on Tuesday.
What? Wow.
Yes. And in one day we shot 10 pages of dialogue and it was
Oh,
the
wow.
second day.
That's
So
crazy.
it is crazy. And everyone's a rock star on those sets. The director, the cinematographer, the other actors, like the girl who she was the lead, she was my daughter. I
Hmm.
mean, everyone was, you have to know your lines. You've got to show up, you've got to get it because
Yeah.
you have maybe 3 takes and then they want to
Yeah.
move on. So,
Right. It's like a
I mean,
soap
it was
opera.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, fast. So,
Very fast. Yeah.
definitely learned a lot. And it's not easy to do to pull these Lifetime movies off. But I know so many people, like my sisters, love Lifetime movies, and so many people across America love them. So I was very happy to get to do one of them.
It's funny because a lot of people I interviewed have been in Lifetime movies. I live out in LA, and so I'm in Philadelphia, so we're on the East Coast. So whenever these things air, they're airing 3 hours before you see it, and so I'm getting these actors that I've had on the show texting me like, how's it look? How am I looking? I'm like, well, my wife is holding the sheets over her head now because she didn't know you were the killer, so now she doesn't like you. He's like, yes. It's so
So
funny,
funny.
so because they hadn't seen it yet. So anyway, we have fun watching those movies. But when did you get started in, and what kind of gave you the bug to want to act? And because I know you're kind of surrounded by it in LA, but when did you really truly get like that acting bug? And had you always been acting?
Well, I always wanted to do it as a kid. And it's funny because I'm actually growing up, I was extremely shy. Like I was literally the kid that was like attached to my mom's leg and wouldn't
Me
let
too.
go of it. You were
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know why I wanted to, but I made my mom do those. I would hear these things and I'd write the phone number down and be like, "Mom, take me to this." And she took me to a couple, but it never worked out that way. I did drama in middle school, and then in high school I just went to sports, so I kind of like got off the track. But I when I was in my 20s, I'm a teen mom, so I had children really young and I got married and then I was getting a divorce and my dream, well, it was my dream at that time was to finish school or to transfer, but I didn't get into my dream school. And so at that time I said, should I, go back to community college to get the other credits so that I can apply at other schools, or uh, should I try for my lifelong dream of acting? And so I decided to join an acting class out in the valley, and it was like a Meisner class,
Which
and
is top level. That's big
it
stuff.
it was I've realized pretty early on in my class, like I just had a feeling like, oh, okay, like I was meant to do this.
Yeah,
And I think
right.
it helps me personally. Like I went from being like very shy and almost emotionless in a way, and finally being able to express myself. And so
Yeah.
it, it, I, yeah, I'm really thankful for it because I think it really helped me out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, what kind of advice would you have for somebody that's wants to do the same thing you're doing, uh, you know, acting and whether it's theater, stage, TV, whatever. What kind of advice would you give somebody because it's not an easy industry? You hear no a lot, or you don't even hear no sometimes. You don't hear back sometimes. So what can you tell somebody that's just getting started that might be discouraged, I guess, by maybe some of these auditions that they're not getting?
Well, I would say to get into a class, I took classes for 6 years straight, at least 2 times a week, sometimes more than that if I was doing more things. and the create the creativity that you get in the classes will help inform your auditions. And then I mean, I feel like I'm not a person to be giving advice because I still feel like I don't really know what I'm doing, but
Oh, I think you do.
I I spent a lot of time in the beginning feeling like I wasn't maybe like good enough to be, auditioning and stuff. And I let it get to me if I auditioned for something and I didn't get it. Um, but now, as I've grown and I've actually done casting, I don't know, I just graduated from film school at Santa Monica College also.
Oh, wow.
And I did casting there, and I just cast three shorts over the weekend. We filmed them all in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
And there are so many talented people. At the end of the day, it wasn't about, oh, you're this person's talented, that one's not. There was so many people at the top of their game, and it came down to everyone always says this, things that you have no control over.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to remember that. Keep auditioning, even if you get a lot of no's, it's a numbers game. And Get really good at it. That's my advice. Get really good at acting and listening, and make sure you're doing it because you love it, because it gets really hard. Yeah, hearing no a lot, and yeah.
I mean, that's great advice. The other thing too, I was going to say, Don, is you also produced a few things as well, and Unwelcome. I got to tell you that I saw the trailer for Unwelcome, and I mean, I really liked it. I mean, I thought like it was so clear, and so it was just I thought cinematography was great. I mean, it got me to
Yeah,
want
it
to
was.
watch it as well. And so producing, do you feel, and I've asked this before of actors, but do you think producing any kind of material, do you think that it helps you become a better actor because kind of behind the scenes what is wanted or what is needed for the project? Does that kind of make you a better actor? In any project down the road because you've already produced something.
I mean, I will say yes. I mean, you can learn so much from producing. And like I said, all of the behind the scenes stuff. I don't, I'll be really honest. I don't always love producing is a lot of work. So,
Yeah, it is.
when we made a short film in the film program at Santa Monica College, and I produced it. I had a small part in it, but it's so much to do. Basically, like you're the person who's making sure everything happens that
Right.
needs to happen.
Yep.
So, in a way, I feel like sometimes I'd rather separate my acting from the producing, because it's like it can be a lot. But if you're well prepared and you have enough time, I like producing because I get to really get to know the script. I get to know everything about it. Um, I get to decide. I have more control over like multiple parts of the movie. It's a very creative job, or it can be. Not all producing is, but when the way that I do it, like I get to have a say in what's going on. And so in that sense, I would say, yeah, if you're into that, it's not for everybody, but if you're, I think it's, as an actor, to have a producing skill can really help you, because if
Yeah.
people know you can get something made, it helps, you know, when
Yeah.
you're on the team with everyone. So
Well, I think you have to wear so
yeah.
many hats too that you get to know what everybody does. And I think one of the things when I was producing music videos back years ago, one of the things that I remember doing, I mean, it was out of necessity because we didn't have a big budget, on some of these sets, but you have to make sure that everybody gets to the set on time. You have to make sure that the extras are where they're supposed to be. You have to make sure that the director knows where everything is, and then when you produce direct, and everything at it. You're wearing all the hats. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it is a lot of work. And, but I think it really, it allowed me to really know what every part of the project, how it works. And I always felt that's why I asked that question, because for me, I always felt that it was helpful to know all the aspects, and that it kind of helped me direct better as well, because I already know who everybody is and what they do and how it all works. And especially when you're dealing with TV networks, or I never worked with a studio, but I worked with a lot of TV networks, and knowing what they want, I was able to kind of provide that, because I knew exactly what the specifications were that they needed. Last question here. I also want to get to your social media and things like that, how people can follow you. But what do you want your legacy to be, Don? What do you want people to take away when they think of Don Marie down the road at the end of your career?
Oh, wow. I've never really thought about that. Um, what do I want my legacy to be? Well, I guess it's my life legacy is that I am truthful in all aspects of my life. So, yeah, I mean, that I tell the truth and that I stay true to who I am, and that that I just, I have it tattooed on my wrist. It says Veritas.
Like
So
that.
Veritas.
Oh,
Yeah.
this,
What
I
did
got,
you, what did
mine
you?
says stay strong.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that.
And then this is a treble clef, but it's got my kids'
Are
initials in
you,
it,
yeah.
and my mom. So it's like, this is D, that's my initial, J for Jessica, E for Eric, and
Oh,
then
wow.
C for Carol, my mom. So there's four different initials in that treble
Are
clef.
you a musician?
I'm not, but I directed music videos for many years, and
Okay.
so I've always been in the music business. So I've always been musical. I love music. I couldn't sing a lick, but but I've been around a lot of people who could.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I had more time to think about that question, maybe I'd have a better response. But I'd say in general, like just being true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great answer, actually. I think everybody should have that answer. Be truthful with who you are, and because I think sometimes when we see social media, there's a lot of people who are smiling in these pictures, but then they turn, the camera turns off, and then they're not happy people.
yeah.
So I think, to be truthful is probably the most the greatest quality anybody can have. Just be truthful who you are,
And
and
truthful in your artistry too,
exactly, yeah. Don't do anything for other people. Do it for yourself. And I always tell these musicians too, when I work with musicians, is just sing. The people will come. If you do it for yourself and you do it for people who like who you are, you'll attract people. You might not attract everybody, but you'll attract the people who like what you do. But you're not doing it for other people. You're not trying to be who you're not. You're not trying to
Yeah,
emulate somebody who you're not. So that's why just be true, even as an actor. Be true to who you are, and don't try to change. For somebody else. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out.
yeah. Like
Be happy with it. Yeah.
telling the truth of the song or telling the truth of the story or whatever it is. I just feel like it's such a big part
Yeah.
of me.
Yeah.
So,
100%. So how can people follow you on social media? I mean, are you on social media? And if so, how can people go find you?
I'm not a huge social media person, but I have an Instagram. So it's my name, Dawn Marie True, True.
Don
Uh,
Marie True.
um,
There you go. Perfect.
I know it's my maiden name was Truesdell, so it's like
Okay.
a hyphenated, but yeah, it kind of all goes
Don Marie
together, I
True.
guess.
Perfect.
Yes,
And then you
on
can find you on
Instagram.
IMDb. I was on your IMDb, so I saw that. In
Yeah.
fact, I have that up right here. So everybody check out Don Marie in Long Shadows, which is coming out in theaters on November 7th. But it was just an honor to have you on, Don, and just just a great conversation. And anytime you ever want to come back, just let me know. We'd love to have you on after the movie's been out for a little bit and get some reactions. So I'd love to have you back on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I hope everyone does go see Long Shadows because it is a really beautiful movie with wonderful actors. And it's like such a sweet story, too. So.
Yeah, it looks like it, so we can't wait. So thanks again, Don, and have a great rest of your night, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Yep, thanks. Take care.